धन्यवाद। माननीय श्रीमती प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी जी।
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, sir. Sir, power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The tendency of the Bharatiya Janata Party to subvert democracy and constitutional norms for their hunger for absolute and unchecked power has been seen at earlier occasions too. We have seen it in Arunachal Pradesh, we have seen it in Goa, we've seen it in Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand, West Bengal, and it continues regularly in the state I come from, Maharashtra. Who can forget, sir, the midnight and early morning swearing in that took place in Maharashtra, which ensured, when we gave them a lesson of constitution, ensured that the swearing in of a chief minister would be the briefest time recorded in the history of our democracy. The failed student in the subject of constitution continues to run from Governor House to North and South Block and also to the press club, and that still continues. At a time when reports have been calling India partly free country and also electoral autocracy, I may disagree with the points, I may disagree with the reports. However, all government moves suggest that this has been moving towards more authoritarian regime than ever before. Whether we look at the sliding press freedom index, whether we look at the liberal use of sedition charges against students, we look at sedition charges being used for journalists, they being arrested, BJP is tilting our nation towards authoritarianism. I'd like to remind this House that when the Government of India Act in 1935 was created, our freedom fighters had also fought against the overriding powers given to the Governor General. Unfortunately, this bill takes us back to the British era and disempowers an elected government which has been voted in by the people of Delhi. This move by the Government of India not just negates cooperative federalism. Cooperative federalism is a much often used word by our Honorable Prime Minister of India, but every single day it is trampled in every possible manner by undermining constitutional norms, by undermining democracy, and undermining even what the Supreme Court of India in a 5-bench court judgment had said with regards to this particular issue in 2018. The Supreme Court had also noted that if we continue to pass this, if this bill is passed in the current form, it would sow the seeds of absolutism. This Delhi bill stipulates that the Government of Delhi will mean the LG. It also goes one step ahead and says that the LG does not require to act on the advice of the Council of Ministers. The bill also makes it incumbent on the Delhi government to take the LG's opinion before taking any executive action, virtually taking away almost all the powers of the elected government. And let's not forget, sir, the LG is now a political appointee of the union government, and the same is seen across the country with various governors in various states. We have seen them speak out of turn in Maharashtra. We have seen the governor speak out of turn in West Bengal, and this will continue. And what we begin in Delhi will perhaps reach out to various states. So this kind of unchecked power has to be controlled and has to be challenged. So all I'd like to say, sir, before I end, that crux of any governance is in the process of implementation of the legislation. And without the power to implement laws, any government will be reduced to a paper tiger. It is for this reason that the law has clearly established that where there is legislative power, there has to be executive power. And ultimately, sir, all I'd like to say is if this bill is passed, the sufferers will ultimately be the residents of the city-state of Delhi. Hence, I urge that this bill is sent to Select Committee for a wide-ranging consultation with various stakeholders. Thank you so much.
Thank you.